Hello everybody, we're going to get started on our second Valentine's Day card. So I pulled out the Cuddlebug and I have this Filled with Love set from Simon Says Stamps. It's a Mama Elephant stamp and it's got a jar which I just cut out in vellum. And now I'm just going to go through and show you, I'm just cutting a few of these hearts that are going to be filling up the jar. So to start out, I'm going to take my embossing powder, go over the vellum, and what I suggest is, like on something like this, you could have stamped it first, did the embossing powder, and then cut out the piece. But I was hoping that to make this go faster, just to cut out the piece real quick and then stamp the outline of the jar in Versamark. And then I'm using the platinum, liquid platinum from Ranger, and I'm just putting that around the edges. And before I start to heat it up, I was going to grab my tweezers there, but I wound up making a mistake and I brushed off some of the powder, so I just put some of it back on, and then we're going to heat it up. And what I did was, on one side of the vellum, I heated it up until it melted, which allowed me to then be able to grab the tweezers and the heat emboss the rest. Now thankfully this vellum I have, it's actually really sturdy, so I didn't have to worry about any type of warping or anything like that. And the way we're going to do all the hearts is going to make it look like it's filling in the jar. So I'm laying out, I had cut out 6 of the hearts, so I'm taking the 5 different fills. There's Be Mine, Kiss Me, True Love, Cutie Pie, and Love You. I did 2 Love Yous and then 1 of each of the other 4. And the best way is just to line it up as best you can. I tried to look as, over top of the actual stamping as I could, just trying to make sure my head didn't get into the frame. And you could, just like with the jar, you could have stamped it first and then used the cutout, the die to cut out all the hearts. But I found that, trying to line it up, make sure it's even, lay down tape, I didn't feel like dealing with that. So I just cut out a bunch of the hearts and then stamped them. So those same hearts on top of the vellum, I'm going to put a row of them on the bottom, so that way I have something to attach the vellum to the card. Because if you've ever dealt with vellum before, you know that a lot of times the adhesives, you can see through it. So by putting the line of hearts on the bottom, it gave me an area where I could attach and not have to worry about it peeking through. And I'm just trying to change some of the directions, how they might have fallen into the card so that it's not very uniform. I think one of them I did on the side, and one I tried to do a little more like it was coming in almost upside down. And then this one I think is the one I do upside down. Alright, so then once we got that loaded up, we're going to stamp some more hearts. I just needed to heat set these because as I was stamping them, it laid on top of the vellum. There's nothing for it to really soak into, so I had to make sure that it was dry, as I didn't want to smear ink everywhere. So we're bringing out our card, and for where the sentiment is stamped, I put 3M Scotch, the foam tape, on the back side because I wanted it to sit up on top of the card. So I'm just placing that right there. And then on the back of the vellum, what I'm going to do is grab my Scotch glue, quick dry glue. And I'm just putting it on some of the hearts. Now the one up at the top, I took that piece of glue off because it's up high, so it's not gonna touch the actual card. And then I decided that I should put a piece of the foam tape at the top where the lid of the jar is. And I could get by with that because there's more embossing on that spot, so you really can't tell that the foam tape is there. And then all I'm doing now is trying to figure out where I wanted to place the hearts that I had cut out previously. And all I'm doing is putting a piece of foam tape behind each of them. Now, as we're putting these, once again, I'm following how I was getting them to go into the jar. I'm twisting, turning, and I'm just laying them throughout. And then after I was putting these on, I thought, you know what, I want to add some that are just on the card itself, not popped up, but they're just flat on the card. So I grabbed some more, and I put 2 B mines, one on top of where the sentiment is, one on the bottom, and then the same thing with Cutie Pie. And then up at the top, I filled in some more as well. So it makes it look like there's a group of them getting ready to fall into the jar. Now, what you don't see me do on here, which I'm not sure if the pictures are going to show it really well, but what I would suggest is the ones that you cut separately, you're going to want to use like glossy accent on them, give them a little bit of shine. That would give the card a little something else to go with the sequins that I'm adding now. And I'm doing the reds, there's a slight, like a clear pinky one, and a matte colored sequin that I'm putting out there. And I'm attaching that with the multi-medium by Ranger. And I'm finally getting used to a certain method with using the tweezers and laying down the sequins on the card. Because it's definitely, when you try it the first time, it can feel a little weird, especially with these particular tweezers, because they work opposite than the way you think. You would think you would press, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's wonky to me. It doesn't operate the same way. So in my mind, they operate completely differently, and it was troublesome at first, but I think with this card, it actually worked pretty well. I was able to get a handle on how to work the tweezers with the sequins. And if all else fails, just grab it and place it down there. Sometimes they like to give you trouble. And there's the card. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And we'll see you on our next video, which would be this week coming. We should have a technique video for Scrapbooking with Me Boutique Members Room. And then we'll have another video on Wednesday. So you guys have a great weekend.